Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to another episode of Sunday Smiles with Stef. I'm super excited about today's episode because the guy that we have on here, he to me is a true inspiration. He's an amazing entrepreneur, inspiring tons of people. His nickname is Dr. Hustle. I love that nickname. I really, really do. One of his quotes that I really love is try everything until you find your niche called upon you. Um, he helps people across the globe, finding what works for them, in online business and whatever it is they want to do. So thank you so much, Travis, for being on here with me today. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, anytime, and I definitely appreciate the invite and the opportunity to share my knowledge with your audience.
Definitely. Before we start, maybe you can tell the people a little bit about you. I always say, like, maybe, where you came from, where you're at now, where you want to go, so the people know who they're listening to today.
Oh, absolutely. As she stated, my name is Dr. Travis Davis. I graduated from Virginia State University, where I actually went there by accident. I
Great.
played football at Hilton High School in Virginia, and I was supposed to go to Miami of Ohio, and me and the head coach weren't seeing eye to eye, and he canceled that scholarship. So
Oh, wow.
I ended up getting sent to Virginia State on an athletic scholarship, and I ended up shattering my leg my sophomore year. And football dreams got crushed. So that summer, I got a letter in the mail that they were canceling my scholarship because I wasn't showing up to practice, which confused me. Uh, and it got me to reading contracts. And once I started reading the contracts, I got my scholarship back, graduated college, started doing, what we're supposed to do. Get out of college, go get the job, got the job, got a car, got a house. Next thing you notice, I realized I'm like $220,000 in debt, and I'm like, this can't be right. So I'm at work, and I see an invoice on the printer. I was working at a government contracting agency, and the invoice had my name on it, and they were billing about 3-4 times more than what they were paying me. And I'm like, hold on, what's this contract thing? And I remembered my contract in football, so I'm like, it's just reading words on paper. So let me really dive down more into what contracts is. And the contract that we were working on at the time was the Affordable Care Act. Uh, we were the help desk for that, and it was three of us at the time. Uh, the website broke when it went live. If you guys remember Obamacare, it was crazy, and they came back and said, "Hey, I want you to go from 3 people to 182 people." And at that time, I was the PM, and I'm like, I quit. So I go to my job and let them know that I quit, but I was going to 1099 myself back to them, and they could only make $1 per hour off of me. Uh, I knew they needed me for that project, especially, it was ramping up. And I had the expertise, I had the knowledge. So they ended up doing that deal. And then I realized, 182 people, you can't get all 182 people. So they ended up letting me get, at the time, 32 people. Uh, Almost killed myself. I was 26 years old, did over $1 million with government contracting, um, blew over $500,000 within a year and a half, from partying, hotels, flights, you name it, I did it. Um, and then I just realized, my money's leaving, and it's not coming in as fast as it's going out. And thank God my accountant called me, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And that's when everything started to wake up for me. So about 28, I'm 33 now. So at about 28, things just started to look different. I started to read more, um, and I changed my circle. Uh,
Oh, that's key.
I put myself around people who knew more than me. And every time I went into a room, I made sure I was uncomfortable. And I literally, I'm a black kid, and being around my group of Black friends, I put myself in a room full of older white guys, and extremely uncomfortable if you've never done it before, especially being young. So walking in the room and watching all of them look at me like, "What the heck is this young Black kid doing in here?" But fighting through that and making them conversate with me changed everything.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the gist of the story of how I got started, and ever since then, we've been striving. Got over 8 companies now. We're invested in real estate, stocks, uh, people, and processes. That's what I mainly invest in. I removed myself from actual real estate and stocks because it takes too much time. Um, and my mind can produce more money than what real estate and stocks can. So I started investing. I have a financial advisor and I have my real estate team, but me personally, I invest in people and processes. So I'm always looking for that person who has that process out there, so we can expand it.
I love that. That's powerful. I love that. And
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that story. I think there are a lot of people that can relate, where you came from. And I think it's powerful to see like it is possible to not let your past define you and make the best out of it and just get out on top. I love that.
Oh, absolutely. If I relied on my past, I'd probably still be sitting in Woodbridge right now, working at a shoe store or something. Um, you know, crying about what's going on right now. And I'm just blessed that my mind changed. And anybody can make the change. They just have to, at this point today, say that they want to change, no matter the age.
Yeah, everybody can. I agree with that. I love that. Thank you. So, what I want to do now is dive into the questions that I have. For those that have seen the previous episodes, you're going to recognize those questions. For those who are new, I always ask the same questions because I want y'all to get perspective from the most different people. And he has no idea what questions I'm going to ask. He
That
doesn't
is true.
know.
That is very true.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's have it.
Okay, so question number one. It's a question that I think every entrepreneur can relate to. Can you think of a time in your life when you made a difficult decision, but you knew it was the right one, even when others were questioning you?
Wow, it's a lot of those. I would say the decision to change my circle. That was the toughest decision to make. You hear it all the time from everybody, but to actually do it and stand by it, because when you do it, that circle is going to be really upset,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
and they're not going to understand
Mhm.
uh, what it is that you're going towards. So you have to constantly not just fight them, but you're fighting yourself, asking, "Am I doing the right thing?" And the only thing that was able to combat that was I had a strategy on paper that I was looking at. If I didn't have that strategy on paper, the voices from my circle and in my head would have pulled me back in that direction. But I kept saying, "No, I got to try this strategy. Like, let me try this out first and see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, then in that case, I can go back. But I got to try this first. I've never tried it in my life.
Mm,
So let me do something differently." That was definitely probably the hardest decision I've ever made.
yeah. I can definitely understand. Like sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith. And one thing I learned is like as long as you have a vision, like not everybody is gonna understand that vision. But if you believe in it, you just have to follow it.
You never lied about that. Believe in it, talk about it every day. And the blessing that we have this internet, your tribe will come. You just got to keep talking and keep that faith.
Yeah. I'm grateful for technology.
Yo, you ain't never lied. I don't know what to do. Every day I think like, man, because we were growing up like right in the cusp of technology coming and transforming things. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I still remember the time not having anything of this.
Yeah, yeah. I always
Nothing.
laugh
When the
like,
first computers came, like the first computer in our household, okay, you allowed to go online for like an hour. That's it. I remember those times. So
yeah, we used to clog up the phone line, and
yeah,
parents
hang
used to.
up, like get out the internet. I want to get on the phone.
Yeah, these kids these days, they wouldn't understand it if
No,
you had to say it at all.
definitely not. So I mean, I definitely, I'm grateful for that. So the next question actually is split in two parts. Okay,
Okay.
so first one is, what is the best advice? I'm looking now because I'm looking at the question. I don't want to mess it up. So, what is the best advice you have received so far that served you well?
My best advice. I use this for all of my students as well. I asked them this. One of my mentors said this a very long time ago. He asked me, "How many millionaires do I know?" And I'll ask you, how many millionaires do you know?
Um, One, but not like personally, but yeah, I know one. Definitely one. The others, maybe one, two. Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that answer because that's what I told him too. And he looked at me in my face and he said, "Travis, you're lying." And I'm like, I'm begging, like, I'm pretty sure I only know one millionaire. I'm positive that I just know one. And he asked me, "How often have I been to the library?" And I told him, I don't even have a library card. So he said, "That's the reason why you only know one millionaire, because all the millionaires' books are sitting on the shelves and they're telling you."
Yeah. Wow. I love
So
that.
now, I mean, I can go through my house. I probably have like 50 books. Yeah. And they're all over the place. And all of them
Wow. That's
millionaires.
powerful.
And they're not just millionaires, they're telling you exactly what they did. Like they're not holding anything back.
Mm.
They tell you the exact blueprint of how to succeed. You just got to do it. You got to try it out and keep faith that it's going to work. I mean, it worked for them, so it's got to work.
Wow. I'm gonna take that question and bring it to my team now. Like that's
Hmm.
powerful. I love that. Wow.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
you. That's a good one. As I say, I'm looking back there at my books. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, when he told me that, I'm like, dang, he is right. I do know more
Yeah.
than.
I'm just reading this now.
Oh wow, that I actually like that book. It's a very good book.
I listened to the audio and it blew me away. I was like, I have to get the actual book. I just like having the actual book.
One of my other colleagues, they just I've been reading now. Let's get real and let's not play.
I've never heard of that one. Okay.
It's it's a great read to talk about the art of selling.
Okay. I'm gonna look it up. Awesome. Part two of that question. What's an advice you received that turned out to be horrible? Like you thought first it's a good one, but it turned out not to be the case.
Absolutely. My best advice that I give to people, which is also the worst advice that I've received, it goes with investing.
Hmm.
Um, like right now, we have this pandemic going on, and if you look at the internet, you would, if you don't know what's going on, you want to get into the stock market because everybody's talking about flash sale, and I tell people from my worst advice: do not get into investing if you don't know what the hell you're doing. And I say that my advice was to get into real estate, to get into real estate, and the best thing was tax liens. And
Hmm.
I got in there. It's this guy named David M. Anderson. He came down here in DC. It was a event. Damn it, I forget what that event's name was, but he came down here. It's a bunch of them. I'll say all of them are scammers. But they came down here. They got us in this tax lien real estate class, and I ended up giving this guy $60,000 to invest with him. So he had the expertise and the knowledge. I had the money. We were going to do a 50-50 deal. At the time, gave him money, chasing money because I was I didn't understand the concepts of money and being understanding that money doesn't come fast. Uh, you have to create a process and it will come fast once you get your process together. And I wasn't patient. So this guy told me big numbers, I could get it quickly, no patience. That never happens. Anybody who promises you money quickly, run. All right.
That's that microwave mentality.
Yes. And I mean, a lot of us get stuck there because, you know, we're watching Instagram. We want the Bentley and the plane and Drake's new house that he just posted. Like, we want that stuff. So when somebody's offering you an opportunity, you know, he was like 60,000, we can flip it into 150. And I'm like, oh, let's do that. And David M. Anderson from Atlanta ended up walking off with $60,000 of mine. So my advice to everyone is don't listen to anybody who's promising you fast money. It will never, ever happen. Ever. I would say that again, ever.
I'm telling people that.
You,
I hope they understand it now when they hear you telling that story.
Look, I have people ask me all the time, you know, what's going to be my ROI on what you're teaching me? When they say that, I don't want to work with them because that was my mindset back in the day. And I don't want you coming into this thing thinking that I'm going to give you like $100,000 in 30 days. Like, we have to get that out of our minds and just invest in yourself before you invest in anything else. The brain is too powerful.
That's the best thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah, wow, I love that.
Yeah, that was a bad loss. I still think about it every day.
Oh, well, but it was a great lesson.
Oh, it was definitely a lesson. Don't look. I got paperwork now. I don't play no game. I don't loan out $100 to anybody anymore without paperwork.
That's smart. I like that. Awesome.